Hey babes, I am back with another story time, and this time I'm finally drinking my tea for real this time because this story time gets really juicy and it's full of drama, so let's get right into today's story time. So we're starting out this story time in the winter of 9th grade, and we're still meeting up in the hallway after school, hanging out, Marie, Haley, Shannon, and I. And it's just not the same because Jesse and Anthony are no longer there, and it's just not the same without these two people. They really added to our group. They brought so much life to our group. So during this time, I think we were all feeling the sadness of not having a couple of our friends hanging out with us while we were hanging out after school. I remember one day Marie mentioned that she actually really missed having Anthony and Jesse around because they really added and brought so much life and joy to our group when we were hanging out after school, and we all pretty much agreed that we did miss their company and they were a great company to have. And I can't exactly remember how this came about, but we never saw these two again. We thought we would never see them again, but one day I think we saw them. They were kind of in the area, and I think they were together, and we called them over. I think Marie called them over, and we ended up all getting a pizza, and we were eating pizza together. Jesse and Anthony started hanging out with us as a group again, and I think Shannon was okay with that. So we were all hanging out with each other in the hallway, and it was just a friend situation because Marie brought it up and she voiced that, she really missed their company, and I think they missed our company too. So it was really nice that we could all hang out together. Around this time, I was actually starting to really feel for Jesse because Jesse, I was starting to kind of understand him a little bit better. He was actually going through a lot at home. He had a troubled life. He was actually being raised by his grandparents, and he had been raised by his grandparents all his life, and they were very strict, and that's probably an understatement to say the least, but there was a lot of conflict at home for him too. And I think at one point he actually ran away from home and he was homeless while he was hanging out with us. And I think he had joined a group of guys, and he was sleeping in hotel apartment lobbies, but he had joined a group of guys that were actively stealing from people's vehicles that were unlocked or something like that, and they would just sell things off and get cash, and that's how they got money for food. And that was just his situation for a while. And I know he ended up going back home too, and I think he said that the grandfather apologized to him or something, but he did have quite a situation around that time too. I remember in the peak of winter, sometime before winter break, we were hanging out in the pizza hallway again, but we actually ended up getting kicked out because the workers were telling us we couldn't hang out there anymore. So we left and we went to Jesse's house, but he couldn't get into the house. I can't remember why this is, but something he wasn't allowed to have the house key anymore, so I guess he could only go home when the grandparents were home. I don't remember exactly the situation, but basically we went into the backyard, and one of us had a lighter or something, and they had a burner in the backyard, so we were trying to find scraps of things to burn so that we could warm up because it was really, really cold and we were outside. I think around this time I was starting to have feelings for Jesse, and I think actually, I'd had feelings for Jesse for some time. I think the feelings actually started coming on while Shannon and Jesse were dating. This was post the situation though, where Shannon was oh, maybe you two should date. That was so awkward and that was so weird, and no, I didn't have feelings for him at that point, and I felt really awkward that she even mentioned that. I actually thought he was a total douchebag around that time, but I did slowly over time start developing feelings for him, and I think I started seeing through that douchebaggy layer of him to see, okay, this guy is just going through a lot, but he actually has a really big heart. And I started having feelings for him, and I actually felt disgusted by the feelings, to be honest, and I wanted to stifle them, and I wanted to keep them to myself, and I didn't want to feel that way. Even while they were actively dating, I felt so wrong, it was my friend's boyfriend. So So I was trying my best to not even feel that way. And then after they broke up, I still felt that way, and the feelings were honestly getting like stronger, and I didn't want to feel that way because, again, it was my friend's ex. And so I kept it to myself. I told myself I would take it to the grave with me. I was writing in my journal about this. Like, that was basically the only place I shared this information. And it was awful because sometimes I would come home and my mom would be literally sitting in my room, my jobless mother sitting in my room, reading through my freaking diaries and journals. It makes me cringe so hard thinking about it. Like, literally, I can picture her at my bedside dresser, pulling out my journal and reading it, and like, it got me so frustrated, and it was such a problem that I ended up having to like learn the Wiccan alphabet so I could write in a different language, basically, so I could write but have her not understand a word that she's reading. So we're at this fireplace, and I think Shannon was there. I just remember for some reason Jesse gave me like his gloves to hold. Like, I don't remember if he wanted me to wear them because I was really cold or if he needed his hands for something. But maybe it was because like I was really cold. I don't remember. I really don't remember exactly. But I just remember like getting this fluttery butterfly feeling when I got his glove. I remember my friends, at least Haley, I remember like she gave me this look. I acknowledged that my friend Haley observed that I was getting like butterfly effects and feelings from like getting Jesse's glove. Like, it was weird. Again, like, I was really stifling my feelings, and I didn't want anyone to know. I would go to the grave. He's off limits, you know? Like, I knew that was a big no-no. And so we enjoyed our time in the backyard with him, and we're trying to burn whatever we can, and we all started smelling like really smoky, like almost like burnt charcoal. And I remember getting home, and I just smelled like burnt. Like, I smelled like ashes. And my mother, like, it was actually so strong. Like, even the next day after I showered and all that stuff, and I grabbed my coat, like, I still smelled like my coat was so pungently like smoky. But no one was doing drugs, no one was smoking, no one was doing anything. It was just we were burning stuff because we were cold, we were outside. Like, this is how absurd my mother was, and she thought that like I was on drugs, that I was doing drugs, and that's why I smelled that way. And she was convinced of that. I'm like, whatever, you're crazy. I remember after that experience, we actually went back to the hallway because we're like, it's too freaking cold. It's like, we have nowhere else to go. What are they gonna do? Like, maybe they'll kick us out again. So we went back to the hallway, and I remember Shannon actually got really sick, so she wasn't at school and she wasn't with us. So in the hallway, it was just me, Anthony, Jesse, Marie, and Haley, and Shannon was homesick. And we were just hanging out, same old, and all of a sudden, Jesse turned to me. He was like whispering with Anthony. Anthony was kind of like nudging Jesse, and Jesse was like, no. And Anthony was like, like trying to coax Jesse. And so Jesse's just like, and so Jesse turns to me and he asks my age. And at this time, I was 14. And Jesse was actually 18 at this time. He was 4 years older than all of us, well, 3 years older than Shannon. And after I told him my age, he's just like, no, I can't, no. And I don't know what's going on, and none of us really know what's going on except for, I guess, Jesse and Anthony. And Anthony is really coaxing and pushing Jesse now. He's really pushing him. And actually, funny story, small world, I guess, but Anthony was really good friends, like best friends with that kid, that childhood friend that I had in the apartment buildings, and who walked me home after school for a bit. And it was actually one time, my mom actually just dropped me off with the two of them while they were like having fun in the snow one day, and I was hanging out with them pretty much while my mother and the rest of my family went to some church event or something because I didn't want to go. And they were like, okay, fine, you can go hang out and spend time with them, and then you don't have to come, kind of thing. So I knew Anthony before high school, and I knew him really well since childhood. We'd never like hang out exclusively, but I knew him through my childhood friend. So Jesse finally gives in to Anthony's coaxing and persuading and pushing. And I need to drink some tea for this. So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start blushing. This is kind of crazy. So this is straight up, I'm not even kidding you, this is straight up out of like a romance movie. Like, honestly, that's how I feel about it even today, especially in that moment. But Jesse turns to me, and so he takes his hat off. He was always wearing like a ball cap, and he wore it like the right way. I know a lot of guys will wear their ball cap like backwards or sideways. He wore it like the right way. He always wore like some sort of hat or sunglasses in the summer, or hat. And he takes his hat off and he looks at me and he's like on his knees, and he is like, will you be my girlfriend? Like, very intensely, very seriously. This guy was a very intense individual in general. He was very intense. He was very quick to temper. That was his like personality. I wasn't expecting it, okay? I wasn't expecting it. So I know I said I was going to take my feelings for him to the grave, and that was the plan. Truly, that was the plan. I didn't expect this guy to outwardly ask me out and to be his girlfriend. I wasn't expecting that. It was kind of blowing my mind. And I don't know. He caught me off guard. He was really intense. The whole situation was really intense. And my friend Marie is just freaking out. Like, did he just ask you out? And the decision was just too easy because I knew what I wanted, and that's what my heart wanted. And because my mind wanted me to say no, but my heart was like stronger in that moment than my rational thinking brain, I literally just said yes. He was caught off guard in that moment, and I guess he wasn't expecting me to say yes. And my friend Marie started freaking out even more now because she's like, wait. Did he just ask her out and then she said yes? She was very confused. Like, even though she was like one of my best friends and I was really close with her, again, I didn't tell anyone that I had any feelings for this guy. And so I'm sitting there. He's intensely looking at me. He's kind of caught off guard because he didn't realize that I was going to say yes. Anthony's just like, oh, in the background because he, again, didn't realize that I guess it was going to go that way either. And then Jesse was like, okay, I need to do this the right way or something like that. And so and I can't remember if he asked me again, but if he did, I said yes again. And he kissed me, like just on the lips, like no like tongue action or anything, but it was like kind of like a longer, like it was actually kind of a shorter kiss, but it wasn't like a quick peck. It wasn't like a quick peck, but it was like relatively brief. And he pulled away, and my friend Marie is now freaking out even more. She's like, what is going on? Did you just kiss her? Did he just kiss you? Did you just ask her? Like, she's freaking out, and Anthony is just like losing it. And Jesse is just like keeping a straight face. And then I'm just like, did he just ask me to be his girlfriend? Did he just kiss me? Like, I'm also freaking out. But also, like, I was like, whoa, like, I actually want this too. And then this is something like he did because he was really obsessed with the military. And he was also really obsessed with Metal Gear Solid. But he had like a dog tag that was like a Metal Gear Solid dog tag or something. And he would give this as a necklace to his girlfriend when he had a girlfriend, and then she would wear it while they were in a relationship. That's how you like to put on the moves. Honestly, I was into it. So I took his dog tag and I put it on. We ended up leaving the plaza, and I went with Marie and Jesse went with Anthony, and Marie was very confused. So I had some explaining to do. Marie was like, he just asked you out. You said yes. He kissed you. And then I was like, oh my God, like I was going to take this to my grave. I don't know how I'm going to explain that. Like, neither of us knew how to explain this to Shannon. I explained to Marie that I had feelings for him and that I was just keeping it to myself. And she was like, I had no idea. I can't believe you didn't tell me. And I'm like, how could I? Like, he was dating our friend, so how could I say anything? But at the same time, it's like, well, like, she's gonna find out, you know? And like, I'm like, I know, she's gonna find out. So we had this conversation. I'm walking with her towards her house, and eventually we part ways, and I walk home and I go home, and it's so dark at this point. It's probably actually closer to like 8-ish, 7-ish o'clock at this point, and my mom is pissed, but I'm like on cloud 9, kind of, like really happy. So like I can't even be touched. And so all of this, actually, this day took place on a Friday. I know because the next day we actually decided that we would all go to see a movie. So it was Haley, Marie, Anthony, and Jesse. And so we went to see a movie, and we ended up having a really good time. And I can't remember if Haley was there Friday night. She might have left early, and it might have just been Marie. I think that was what the case was. But Haley was there, and that's when she found out that I was dating Jesse, and she was like, whoa, what? Like, she was pretty taken aback too. And then when we got to school on Monday, Shannon was feeling much better, and I, of course, didn't know how she was going to find out, or I was going to tell her. I don't even know what I was thinking about that, to be honest. I just thought it would all work out. I didn't expect her to be okay with it or anything, but I had no idea what was going to happen. So it was just me, Marie, and Haley at that point, and Shannon came up to me and she slapped me in the face. And I didn't say anything, and I don't think she said anything either. And I think she just walked away after she slapped me. But clearly she was really pissed off about that. But honestly, it ended up working out anyway, because whether or not she did it in spite of me or whatever the case, Shannon and I remained friends. She actually came over to my house a good bit. And as I told you, Shannon really loves getting the attention of older men. And I have an older brother, 7 years older than me. And he was kind of desperate for a girlfriend, and Shannon loves attention from older men. So Shannon and my brother ended up hooking up, and guess who ended up joining us in the hallway of the plaza behind the pizza store? My brother did. So it was all one big happy family. Me with Jesse, my brother with my friend Shannon, and then Haley and Marie were there too, just like, ugh, gross couples. So I'm gonna leave the story off here. That was a lot of drama, and that was a lot of like love triangle stuff, and it definitely got pretty juicy, it definitely got pretty intense. So yeah, next episode is actually going to be still pretty chill, laid back, and there should be no disclaimers needed for the next episode. It should be pretty laid back. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this story time. I hope you're super excited for more story times. If you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below, turning on that notifications bell on, and I will see you again really soon with another story time. Bye for now. Till next time.